Well, can Howie Roseman build a defense? A lot is in question, and I think some things really need to be talked about right now. We're going to be talking about a specific player coming back for this defense is starting this week, which is absolutely fantastic, and a specific player is wanting out of Philadelphia, and this doesn't really surprise me. And, because you're not getting the playing time you deserve, you might want to go somewhere else, and we're going to find out if that's going to be the case. Let's get into it.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. So a lot to discuss regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Big matchup this week between the Eagles and the Cleveland Browns. A lot of proving to do this week, okay, regarding the offense, regarding the defense, and where this team is at. Will they play down to the competition? Will they destroy the Cleveland Browns this week? So, now we have to get everything situated. It's go time, and there's a lot to talk about right now. And official as of right now, the news was swirling the other day that Cooper DeJean will be starting at the inside corner spot for Avonte Maddox, which is fantastic, guys. I mean, realistically, we've been waiting for this moment. It's unfortunate that Cooper DeJean missed a lot of training camp, made that third preseason game, and it just wasn't enough time. But I think we've got what we wanted in Quinyon Mitchell on one side, having Slay on the other, and having Cooper DeJean on the inside, and hoping that this is going to be a huge upgrade for this defense, and hopefully everything can work out. Now we get to really test this secondary where it's at, because I don't think Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has played at a high level really since that injury and missing all that time with the Lions last year. That safety spot, I think Reed has been a very good player this year. Slay, to me, just, let's see if he, I don't think he's necessarily played great as of recent, and we're going to put him to the test as well, because I think Quinyon Mitchell has really been tested every single week, and man, I'm loving that guy every single week, and it just sucks that we play this damn passive scheme, because I think we can really get a lot more out of these players going forward. But Cooper DeJean being here, being in the secondary, it just makes it it's a huge upgrade, no doubt. I think Maddox has been one of the worst. The Eagles are not going to get rid of him. He will be on this roster as a backup safety until Bradbury comes back, and see what happens with all that happens the next few weeks. Sidney Brown still trying to come back as well. Now, Nick did say that DeJean is going to be working that spot inside corner this week. He's not going to give the opposition and the Cleveland Browns any information, so he's not going to say anything to the public about if Cooper is playing, but from what it sounds like, Cooper DeJean will be starting in that spot, and I think that's all we could ask for. Hopefully, their mentality is a lot better going into this game. The play calling and the adjustments from Vic Fangio are a lot better, and hopefully we get a nice pick from Cooper DeJean this week. You never know, so it's nice to hear that news going forward to the Cleveland Browns this week. Now, it's already enough. We got more information on Devin White, that he was he was not willing to play special teams, and maybe he thought he was deserving of a starting job. And for me, I don't know. It seems like Nick has been really happy with the linebacker group and really trust the linebacker group behind even having the healthy scratch in Devin White the last few weeks, really the whole entire season so far. Seems like there's a lot of trust in that group. But one out of the corner group right now that there has been tweets coming out that Isaiah Rodgers has been liking, that's really been a little eerie, is some Colts fans maybe wanting him back to the Indianapolis Colts. Isaiah Rodgers liking a couple tweets there, which is... This is a player, unfortunately, that, we picked him up with the gambling issue. The Eagles were the only team that had interest when he was going to get suspended last year. The Eagles picked him up. They kind of kept him on reserve and came back. And, he really hasn't had an opportunity. Was he beaten out of his job? Pretty much, because Slay was going to be here. And obviously Quinyon Mitchell, it seemed like the original plan was Quinyon Mitchell playing on the inside. And then, if Isaiah Rodgers didn't mess up his hand that first game against Green Bay, I think Isaiah Rodgers would have been the number 2 corner, and I think Quinyon would have played on the inside the whole entire season. But I'm actually happy that this might be a blessing in disguise. I don't wish injury upon anybody, but I like that Quinyon Mitchell is playing that number 2 spot, that outside spot. Fangio took him out of position this past training camp, and put Quinyon on the inside. He's never played that inside corner spot. He's been an outside corner all of college at Toledo. So these are one of these blessings that sometimes because of injuries, you get something different or what it should have been. I've always agreed that Quinyon should have started on the outside regardless, but Isaiah Rodgers would have been probably playing right now if it wasn't for him with that hand injury. But, Isaiah Rodgers as just a special teamer, it's just not enough for this. Probably it's not enough for him. He wants to go somewhere else. And it wouldn't shock me that he wants an opportunity. I mean, look, he is a starting caliber corner in this league, and he brings some special team. He brings a special team pedigree as well. So I think he has a lot of value. The Eagles are deep at corner right now. I mean, with obviously Keely Ringo sitting there, having Eli Ricks, that's really working on himself, having starting opportunity last year. I mean, look, sky's the limit for this corner group and how they're used. Do I think this is the best? Do I think they should press a little bit more? Do I think they should play off ball so much? No, but this is what the scheme gives you, and that's what I don't really like about it, because I don't think you get the best out of these corners in a scheme like this. And if Isaiah Rodgers is another player now that's disgruntled and wants to go somewhere else, then I really can't blame him, So what do the Eagles do here? So if somebody gets hurt, Ringo can come in, but I think there's enough depth as long as you don't have a couple injuries to your corner group. At least we can deal with one injury and someone can come right in. So Isaiah Rodgers maybe could be out the door. Who knows? I'm not really sure, but it would be nice for him to stay. God forbid we have injuries, but I understand. If the original plan was Isaiah Rodgers to start beginning of the season, I honestly think that was the beginning process of it, that he was supposed to start. We'll see what happens, what comes of this, later on. But this is definitely very eye-opening. We'll have to keep this under wraps and see where it goes. You could have another disgruntled player on their, the Eagles could have another disgruntled player on their hands right now that wants to go elsewhere and maybe deserves a shot, some playing time. And they like Quinyon Mitchell on the outside so much, there's no way they could move him. And unfortunately, I think one of the biggest mistakes they made with Isaiah Rodgers this offseason, they didn't cross-train enough guys to the inside corner spot. Really, before, when DeJean was hurt, it was really just Quinyon and it was Avonte Maddox. It really wasn't anybody else. Ringo can't play on the inside. Eli Ricks can't play on the inside. I mean, they never even put Isaiah Rodgers on the opposite corner spot where Slay plays. It's like he only plays one side, and I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes they made. They should have cross-trained Isaiah Rodgers to the inside. I don't think it would have been a bad idea because there's just not enough depth at that inside corner spot. And when you limit guys to one position, your shot at starting is it's far to none. Like, you drafted a corner in the first round that could play on the outside, and because of that injury to Isaiah Rodgers, it really cut him out of a lot of playing opportunity this past year. So we'll see what happens with this, with this whole story, and to see where it goes, if it goes anywhere going forward. Now, last thing I want to talk about is Howie Roseman. Okay. And I have to say this because does Howie Roseman need to be watched when it comes to building this defense? I feel like he knows how to build an offense around a quarterback. I think he's made some good trades. He's made some good draft decisions. And obviously you paid a running back for the first time in a lot of years. And when you have Saquon Barkley here, I think this is the one player that you have in your backfield that without Saquon Barkley, I don't think you win the 2 games that you have right now. Okay, the problem I'm having right now is some of the decisions on defense. Okay, it's already enough right now. Are we finally going to be good at linebacker? Obviously, getting rid of Devin White now. Are you going to be good at this position? Like, are you feeling comfortable with Jeremiah Trotter Jr.? Are you feeling comfortable with Ben Van Simmeren? Zach Baun's a free agent. If he becomes a free agent, the Eagles don't pay him, then I think that's another problem. Because if you start Zach Baun and Kobe Dean the whole entire year, and then you get rid of Zach Baun after playing a good year, it's like you're just the recycled process over and over again. TJ Edwards goes to Chicago, balling out for a very affordable price. And now you're going to have yet again another linebacker in Zach Baun. Potentially the Eagles could just say, let go of him and say, oh, we're good with what we have behind him. But if Trotter Jr. is not getting snaps, this is a big problem. Another big hit for this defense is, I think, Howie Roseman's worst worst moves he has made, and there's fucking 3 of them right here, is defensive end. We all know how lacking that position is. Nolan Smith, bad pick from what it looks like right now. I think, but completely is a bust. I haven't seen anything from him. Trading Hassan Reddick, bad move. And, you not only lose a closer to the game that can get you those sacks in those last moments when you have a minute left, 4th down, end of the, this is the play that you could count on one of these guys. And I think Reddick was one of those guys you could really count on. And what it looks like with the New York Jets right now and firing Robert Salah, I don't know what's going to happen with that whole entire, thing with Hassan Reddick. If he's going to get cut, the Eagles can't trade for him because of NFL rules. But if he gets cut, the Eagles could acquire him again. But I'm not really going to hold my breath too much on that. And specifically getting Hassan Reddick's replacement in a $17 million a year edge rusher and Bryce Huff that's not even being used correctly in technique, I should add, from a 4-point stance now to a 2-point stance, getting more snaps, no get off, no explosiveness, looking horrible out there. So 3 moves at defensive end, you're really screwed up on right there. And I think that's been lackluster. Defensive tackle, Jordan Davis not having a great year. Jalen Carter, I think, is the best player on that defensive line. I don't think the Eagles are getting the best out of him because of the scheme being so passive. Your defensive line is not going to matter if your corners are playing off ball, and these quarterbacks are going to be literally cutting us underneath nonstop, giving that much cushion. The defensive line is going to be, it's not going to matter. They're not going to show up. This pass rush will never show up if your corners are playing off ball that much. You're not going to generate any pass rush. You're going to get sliced and diced going downfield, playing, bend don't break, and then finally playing tight when you get into defensive red zone. It just makes no sense to me. You get nothing out of your corners. You get nothing out of your corners when you allow these receivers off the line with no physicality, no pressing the guys, no putting a hand on them, letting them off the line, going 100% speed while you're just sitting there, waiting for things to happen. You know what I mean? You're going after a player. You're going to start moving once a guy is 100% speed next to you. It makes no sense. You're going to get beat on that route. Don't matter what corner you are. You could be, doesn't matter how good of a corner you are, whether you're Sauce Gardner, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to get beat regardless if you stand there in the back end and you're just waiting for a guy to run past you and then finally start moving to cover him against a guy that's going 100% speed. It makes no sense. Like I said, the scheme, I think, is what's really affecting a lot of these players and where they are right now. And you're not going to get defensive line statistics because, like I said, it's way too passive and too much open underneath. To me, like I said, I just can't stand it. So I'm hoping they press a little bit more, and that's where they're at. So I think there has been some moves that, I think the Eagles should have at least sacrificed a little bit more money this past offseason at safety, and hopefully we find out. It was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, really a good long-term deal at $8 million a year. I understand there's some guys that got paid a lot more money, so should they have put more money into safety? Corner, I think we're going in the right direction. Inside, outside, I really like it. Once Slay leaves this year, we're a lot younger, and I think, with another offseason program under their belt, and hopefully maybe we'll be under a new defensive coordinator. I don't really know if I'm going to really enjoy having Fangio back for another year if they change things around, depending what happens to Nick and the rest of what's going on with all this drama and, going into these next 4 weeks. Beatable teams, but, the Eagles are going to make things tougher on us as usual. Obviously getting some reinforcements back this week. So I don't know if Howie Roseman really knows how to build a defense. A lot of bad moves for maybe some of these moves would have looked really good under a better scheme. You know what I mean? It's, so I feel like it's like, well, what if you have a guy that's aggressive? What if you go after a top 5 defensive end in the draft next year? Just say you go after a top 10 pick in the draft next year, you trade up, or whether the Eagles play bad this year and you have a top 10 pick and you get the best edge rusher in the draft, but he doesn't cover well. So what are you supposed to do? Go through the analytics and say, through Fangio's analytics, this player's not great in pass coverage. So as a top 10 pick, he's complete garbage. So you're going to go for the lesser talent because of the scheme. It's just so stupid, guys. I feel like this, like I said, I feel like this scheme is ruining player statistics and ruining players' progression and how good they could be. I'm just not a fan of it. And, I think part of it is definitely Howie's fault. And part of it is definitely the ownership and the direction they're going and the coaching and the scheme of what we're doing that fits these players. I mean, you don't force a scheme on players' weaknesses. That's just not how it goes. And I think you've taken a lot of players out of position, and some of them are failing right now because of that. And it's really real shitty. So I think changing the scheme is going to really change a lot of things. And I think drafting, I think it's totally affected by what we're doing, especially on the defensive side of the ball and who you re-sign. And, so there's a lot going on with Howie Roseman and what I've thought about him the last, few weeks. Just seeing everything transpire the way it has. I'm due for a lot of changes. I'm not a fan of both schemes on both whatever scheme you call it. There's no identity with the offense and with the defense. I still don't know what it's gonna. I don't know what it's gonna look like by week 14. And I'm not feeling great about it. So let me know what you guys think about that whole situation going forward. But let me know what you guys think about Cooper DeJean coming back. What do you guys think about the tweets from Isaiah Rodgers, and do you think he just wants out and deserves playing time somewhere else? You guys let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Make sure you like the video. It helps out the channel tremendously. Thank you for all the support, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Chicks about Fall Side. Peace out, guys. Peace.